To solve for x in this equation, we are going to utilize the good old quadratic formula. Now, if you've forgotten what it is, I've written it out on the left here. Now, in order to use this properly, though, we need to manipulate the given equation and to move everything over to one side so that the whole thing is equal to 0. We can do that pretty easily just by adding 3k. So then we would have x squared minus j over 3x plus 3k equals 0. With that done, we can now identify our a, b, and c values. So our a value is the coefficient in front of x squared. In this case, that's just 1. Our b is the coefficient in front of the x term, which is negative j over 3. And then our c value is positive 3. Oh, sorry, it's actually positive 3k. That's the constant. So I guess it's that whole thing there. Okay, so let's go ahead and start using the quadratic formula. So it's going to be negative b. Well, negative j over 3 is just positive. So it'd be positive j over 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared. Now, I guess I'll just write it out. So b is negative j over 3, and we're going to square that. And then it's going to be minus 4 times a times c, which is 3k. And that's all over 2a, so 2 times 1. Okay, so let's continue to work this out. We're going to have j over 3 plus or minus the square root of, let's see, that fraction becomes j squared over 9. And then we'll have minus 12k. And that's all over 2. Okay, this is where it gets a little complicated. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in here. First off, just taking a look at this first section here, j over 3 divided by 2, that's actually just going to become j over 6. Okay, and then we're going to have plus or minus whatever this lovely thing becomes. Okay, this is where it gets complicated. So what we're going to do is I want you to take a look at what's inside the radical here. We've got j squared over 9 minus 12k. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to factor out 1/9. Okay, so if I factor out 1/9, we would then just have j squared. That's why there's a value in that. By factoring out 1/9, the j squared term doesn't have a fraction anymore. Now, if we take 12 and factor out 1/9, you're essentially thinking, oh, what is 12 times 9? Well, that's 108. Okay, so that's why we get 108k there. And that's still all over 2. Now, the cool thing about this is we can actually take the square root of 1/9 and pull it out, because the square root of 1/9 is just 1/3. So this would become 1/3 multiplied by the square root of j squared minus 108k all over 2. Now, because this 3 is in the denominator here of this fraction, essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be multiplying the 3 and the 2 together here. So this becomes the square root of j squared minus 108k all over 6. What's 3 times 2? So pretty convoluted, but you can see now that the answer is going to be j over 6 plus or minus this term here. So looking at our possible options, we can see that matches option A. All right, hope that helps, and thanks for choosing JD's Prep.